Greetings to all. Today, I'd like to share my story with you to see what you think. I had been married to an Indian woman for over a decade. I met her when I visited India for a business trip. I was frustrated with dating modern liberal women in the United States, so when I met my wife Puja, I knew she was unique. I was fascinated by her beliefs and the way she cared about her family, religion, and those around her, which led me to fall in love with this highly traditional and lovely brown woman. I wed her in India, and a few days later we returned to the United States. Our marriage was blissful because Puja, my wife, was a natural nurturer. She was the kind of lady who would put the demands of the family ahead of her own in order to maintain harmony and balance in our home. She prefers to wear her sari and traditional dresses. Even in America, I was a proud and content husband until Puja received an invitation from India to attend her brother's wedding. We had to travel there. Puja was very excited because she was returning after 3 years. I love India, but Puja has such a large family that I really couldn't understand their family dynamics. No matter how much they tried to include me, I felt like a little outsider. Her grandparents were opposed to our marriage, and I knew that even after years of marriage, they would not accept us, so I asked Puja to attend her brother's wedding. And I planned to join her 2 days before the wedding. Puja and our 2 children traveled to India 2 months before the wedding. She kept contacting me from there, checking in to see how I was doing. She insisted that I fly to India as soon as possible because our 10th anniversary was approaching, so I decided to surprise her. I contacted her friends in India to plan the surprise. I didn't tell Puja about my flight. I told her that I would come in the last days of October, but my flight was booked for the 13th of October, and our wedding anniversary was on the 15th of October. I had planned to stay at a hotel. So I arranged a dinner date for the 15th of October at a posh restaurant and asked Puja's friends to bring her there in some way because Puja had no idea I was in India. Her friends agreed. Around 8 p.m. on October 15th, I was sitting at a restaurant waiting for my wife to arrive. I was sitting alone, and as a white man in an Indian restaurant, I was attracting a lot of unwanted attention. My wife didn't arrive until 8:30, so I called her friends, who said they had informed Puja's family and that they would bring her and that I should keep waiting. I kept using my phone while waiting for my wife to arrive at a restaurant, but eventually, I had to order dinner for myself because they wouldn't allow me wait any longer without doing so. On our 10th wedding anniversary, I was forced to eat alone. I was upset and felt quite uneasy being by myself in a foreign place. It was 10 p.m. and my wife was nowhere to be found, so I called Puja's friend and they suggested I go to Puja's parents' house, which was where Puja was staying. I left the hotel to visit my wife and kids to her parents' house, and I had taken Uber and thought I could still surprise her. When I arrived, her family welcomed me. When I arrived at her parents' house, there were at least 50 people there. It was like a celebration, which I thoroughly loved. They brought me tea, sweets, and biscuits, but Puja was out shopping. Puja's grandmother told me they had married her off to an Indian man, which everyone laughed at. Apparently, she was joking as she didn't accept our marriage yet. I went outside to smoke to get away from Puja's grandmother's jokes. At that moment, a car pulled up in front of Puja's home. Inside, Puja was sitting in the passenger seat with her cousin Mohit. Mohit parked the car under the dark tree, and because there was a celebration going on inside, no one else was outside except for me, so they didn't notice me. Mohit and Puja gave each other a passionate kiss in front of my eyes. I was taken aback by their act in the car. I regained my composure and ran towards the car. Puja was surprised to see me. I told her how disappointed I was in her. I insulted her in front of Mohit and slapped Mohit. They didn't expect to see me, but it was our wedding anniversary and my wife had been busy with her cousin. I'm not sure how long this had been going on. I took Puja and Mohit inside and revealed their cheating in front of everyone, but it turned out it was not a surprise to anyone and they were probably already aware of it. Puja's grandmother defended her and said your marriage was not real and we will arrange Puja's real marriage soon, so I left their house and booked my flight back to the US the next day. It was a heartbreaking experience. I had always found Puja to be loyal, but seeing her with her cousin was torture for me. I filed for divorce and after all the legal proceedings I sent her the divorce. Puja hadn't come to the US after that incident. She didn't even bother to explain what had happened. She only called to discuss our children's custody. Update: Puja had married to her cousin Mohit a year after our divorce. Evidently cousin marriage is more genuine to her family than marriage to a foreigner. I saw her wedding images on Facebook. They celebrated it in a lavish event as if it were her first wedding. Puja contacted me after her second marriage and explained how her family never accepted our marriage and how difficult it was for her to leave her family because family is everything in India. So she couldn't leave her parents, grandparents, and culture. She explained that during our 10 years of marriage, she had desperately missed India and her culture, traditions, and family, and that when her family pressured her to get remarried, she was powerless to refuse. She had made the decision to live in India for the rest of her life, and, for the sake of our children's future, she had made me the primary caretaker of our children because they would have better access to education, technology, and other facilities in the United States. But she wanted them to spend vacations with her in India. We had agreed on these conditions, and I wanted to keep my kids, so I agreed. She asked for my forgiveness. But I probably wouldn't be able to forgive her. I'm not saying all Indian women are like this, but my experience with Puja was awful. Would I marry another Indian woman? Probably, but to the one who has the power to make her own decisions. We would still be married if Puja had not let her family dictate decisions about our lives. If Puja had not let her family decide what our lives would be like, I continue to be in favor of marrying into a different culture since it teaches you a lot about the world. You gain a new perspective, it changes your attitude and allows you to spend time in two countries. You have two families in separate parts of the world, and have children who are from two different cultures. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my story. Please remember to like this story and subscribe to my channel. Please leave your comments in the comments section. Have a fantastic day. Thank you.